Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
And region, I want to select any region. So as I told you earlier, that bucket will be available across a region. It's region specific. I'll use Ohio. I will do next. Then do I want to enable versioning? I will check this, or I don't want to use, I don't check it. You want to access logs of your bucket, you provide tags.
So it will be only available in this Ohio region, this bucket. It won't be available in other regions.
Bucket can be, the objects in the bucket can be accessed from anywhere in the globe.
Okay.
But with respect to your infrastructure, it is stored in that region. So I'm adding a tag here, a couple of tags. Do I have the option of enabling? Yes, I have option. I want to enable. I don't want to enable encryption. That's it. Then I'll say next. You want to have public access. You want to block all public access, or you want to block some part of the access. You can block as per your requirements. You have different options. Block all public access will disable public access to that file, and you can grant access based on policies. Okay. So for now I will enable this. I'll disable this. I will not want to block all public access, and disabling public access may result in this bucket and objects becoming within the public. Yes, I want to make this public. Then next, I have to add tags. Object level logging is not there, encryption is not there. Yeah, that's it. Then I can create the bucket. Now within this bucket, if you get in, you have option of uploading objects, or you want to create directories and folders, you can do that. I'll use encrypted file here. So whatever file comes in this directory will be encrypted. AES encryption 256 standard will be used. And then I can have I can upload anything here. If I want to add some metadata, I can do that. Who should be allowed to access the file? I'm giving manage users. And then you have the storage classes. You want to use standard frequently accessed data, or you want to use standard infrequent access, intelligent tiering, one zone IA, glacier deep archive. Yeah, you have different storage classes. I'll choose the standard frequently accessed data. Then I'll say upload. That's it. It is as simple as this to use Amazon S3. You can upload outside your encrypted files as well. So yeah, that's how it is, typically how it looks like. And then there is this elastic block storage. So this block storage gives you a persistent block level storage volume for consistent and low latency performance. Now, when do you use elastic block storage? EBS volumes you use when you are adding some drives to your running instances on your VM, on your EC2 VM. If you want to add some consistent low latency performance, low latency storage, you will go for EBS. It is just like mounting volumes to provide some file storage. All right. So data stored within this EBS is automatically replicated within its AZ. Snapshots are stored durably in S3. So EBS snapshots can be stored in S3. So in general, if you want to understand what EBS is simply a file store which can be attached or mounted to your running VMs. As simple as that. And if you want to create a snapshot of your file storage and store it on S3, that's possible for you. So what is the life cycle of a typical EBS? You create a volume. Let's say you can create it for as small as 1 gigabyte of size to as big as 16 terabytes. You create the volume. You attach that volume to one EC2 instance. Once it is attached, you can use it. You format that volume and it is available for you to use within your EC2. Now your applications which are running on EC2 can store the data to EBS volumes because they are providing very low latency. They are directly connected to your VM. They provide very low latency and high performance. And then if you want, you can create snapshots and attach that, store that snapshot to your S3 just for the sake of backup. Like you do it in your systems, in your machines. If you do it, you may want to create some backup of your data which is created on your file storage. So you will do that, and then you can detach your volumes. So have you created an EBS volume in the last examples? Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Yeah, we did. So we did when we launched the storage, right? When we are launching VM, by default you will attach some volume, right? You will attach some root volume.
Right.
That is also one type of EBS only, but that is the root volume. Other than the root volume, you can add any number of EBS volumes.
Okay.
Just like on your PC, you will have C drive, D drive, etc. Right?
Right.
So you can attach any amount of EBS volumes. Yes.
This is specific to an instance, and S3 is a separate storage thing where we.
Yes, exactly. EBS is specific to instance. Other than that, EBS can also be used for multiple instances also.
Okay.
So you may want to remember the difference between EBS and S3, like it is file storage and that is object storage.
Okay.
And files can be dynamically edited, files can be appended, you can have dynamic access on the file, you can read anywhere, you can write anywhere. You open a file in your text editor, you can go in the middle and edit something, you can go to the end and add something. All that possibilities are possible on file storage, but not on the EBS. Not on the S3.
Okay.
So what are the different EBS volume types? One is SSD, and then one is HDD. SSD are sort of solid state devices which are dominant in IOPS. They give you high IOPS and good performance, but comes at a little extra cost. Whereas HDD is standard hard drive. SSD, you will use it for optimized on transactional workloads that involve frequent access, read and write data with very little IO size. It is dominant in IOPS performance, whereas HDD are optimized for large streaming workloads and it is dominant in throughput. It is measured in megabytes. EBS volume types, as I told you just about that, SSD and HDD, they are two types of volume types. one is general purpose SSD GP2, and then one is provisioned IOPS SSD, and then throughput optimized HDD and cold HDD. There are these 4 types which you can choose from, and the description also is mentioned. Balances price and performance for a wide variety of transactional loads. By default, you will go for general purpose SSD. Then you have high provisioned SSD volume designed for mission critical applications. You have low cost HDD designed for frequently accessed data, throughput intensive loads, and then low cost HDD designed for less frequently accessed. So you have these two in HDD and you have these two in SSD. EBS is recommended when data must be quickly accessible and requires long-term persistence. You may want to access data at the instance of the moment. You want to do it now. You want to change the data on the fly in the file. You use it. You use EBS. You can launch EBS volumes as encrypted volumes. Okay. Any data which is written to your EBS will be encrypted immediately. Data stored at rest on the volume, disk IO and snapshots created from the volume are all encrypted. So when you make your EBS encrypted, the data as well as your disk IOPS and snapshots which is created are all encrypted. You can create point-in-time snapshots of EBS volume and can be stored to Amazon S3. Because S3 gives you an ability of storing data at a very low cost and a long time. If you want to archive or you want to do some operations on objects, you can store objects on S3. Then some use cases of where to use this EBS. As I told you, you will use EBS for booting or root volume or secondary volumes. Root volume we have seen in the example. You may want to try another example where you can create secondary volumes. Boot volume you will do when you launch EC2 instance. That is the only time when you do that. But you can create secondary volumes any number of times at any point in time, and you can dynamically attach volumes to your running VMs. You can use EBS to create databases also. If at all you want to create an application, your application wants to use database, you can install that on EBS. Enterprise applications, like in example, what we have seen WordPress server, right? So WordPress will create some files, a lot of files on your file system. So you may want to have storage. So that storage can be provided by EBS. You might want to use it for business continuity, where you want to minimize data loss and recovery time by regularly backing EBS snapshots, and you want to install applications and persist any application. So these are typical use case of a EBS volume. EBS pricing is again similar to the pricing based on region. Pricing calculator is available online. You can choose pricing as storage optimized or IOPS optimized. These are the options for you. You can always check the monthly calculator, simple monthly calculator, which gives you a vision of how your pricing can go for the usage, for a typical usage. And then, as I mentioned earlier, that EC2 instances are available for a single availability zone. If the availability zone goes down, your EC2 instance can be affected. Similarly, EBS volumes are also available in a single availability zone. So if you want, you can have EBS volume created on more than one availability zone as well. Volume data is replicated across multiple servers in an availability zone. Here there is a quick comparison of EBS and S3. So in what paradigm you use EBS and in what paradigm you use S3. It is a block storage with file system, and S3 is object storage. EBS is very fast because that is working directly with the VM, and it is having a very low latency. Whereas S3 is also fast, but not as fast as your file storage. EBS is available across multiple servers in an availability zone, whereas S3 is available within a region. EBS security comes with EBS encryption, data and volume snapshots can be encrypted, whereas S3 also comes with encryption. Can objects stored on EBS be accessible from internet? No, because they are simply stored on file storage. Unless you have an application which is exposing your objects, they cannot be accessed over the internet. Whereas S3 objects can be accessed within on the internet. So EBS is a disk drive and S3 is online storage. Any questions so far on this?
No.
Right. Amazon EC2 instance storage. It is local, complementary, directly attached block storage. Includes availability, number of disk and size on EC2. It is optimized, is SSD or magnet, has no persistence. This is the same EC2 instance storage which I spoke about. When you create a EC2 instance, you create EC2 instance storage, right? Yeah, that is also similar to your EBS, and it comes with the same flavor what your EBS comes with. IOPS and SSD based optimization. Now the difference between this EC2 instance storage and EBS is EBS will get EC2 instance storage will get deleted when your EC2 instance stops or terminated, because they are connected to EC2 instance as a root volume. So it is deleted, it is stopped when your storage is stopped. Sorry, your EC2 is stopped. Whereas EBS volumes can exist even if the VM is down. It can still exist because they are simply file drives, and they are not directly associated. I mean, they are not always linked to the EC2 for its life cycle survival. They can survive even if the EC2 instance is down. Amazon EBS versus Amazon EC2 instance storage. EBS data stored on EBS volume can persist independently of the file of the life of the instance. Storage is persistent, whereas EC2 instance store data stored on local instance store as long as the instance is alive. The storage is ephemeral. I hope you understand this difference. But the characteristically it is similar to your EBS only, but this is still called as EC2 instance store.
So this EC2 instance store, it gets deleted once the instance stops, or it's terminated.
It is deleted. It can be terminated. If you are terminating the EC2 instance, this will be terminated forever.
Okay.
But if you restart it, if you restart that, the instance store will come back.
Okay.
Just like your system, right? If your laptop, if your PC is shut down, can you access the files there?
No.
Can you access it from external computer?
No.
All right, because it is down. So,
right.
So anything in your root volume, if your system is terminated, your root volume will be gone. So that's how it is.
Right.
And what happens at reboot, stop versus terminate? This is something what we may just have a look at that. When you reboot on your instance volume stores can preserve, Instance store, I hope you understand. Instance store volumes can be preserved, and when you re-log in, you will get that. Whereas if you start and stop, it can erase. If you terminate, it will be erased altogether. Whereas EBS volumes will be preserved, and it can stay as long as you are using it. If you terminate it, they will be deleted. How do you have your elastic IP address resolution? If elastic IP is attached to instance, it remains there. It remains associated with the instance unless you terminate that. And when you terminate it, elastic IP is gone. A quick knowledge check. What AWS service would help support your web application by hosting static assets and storing user uploaded images and video of instances?
S3.
We don't have anything called S2. It is S3.
S3.
Yeah. I said S2.
I heard it as S2.
No, I said S3.
All right. How would an Amazon EC2 instance find its private and public IP addresses? How can you find its public and private IP addresses? You can retrieve its metadata always. Retrieve the instance metadata.
Right, yeah. That commands were there.
Yes, exactly. What acts as an additional layer of security at the subnet level in a VPC? What acts as an additional layer of security at the subnet level? If you remember, at the subnet level, I said we can have access control list. Yes, we have network ACLs or NACLs, we can call it as. True or false? Amazon S3 limits the amount of data what you can store.
There is no
limit
limitation.
the amount of.
There is no limit.
Yes, there is no limitation. There is a 5 TB limit per object, but the total amount is not limited.
Yeah.
Fine. That brings us to the end of this module in which we spoke about the foundational services. All right, let's move to module 3. All right, quickly confirm if you can see my screen on module 3.
Yes.
Great. All right, so this module will primarily talk about security in AWS and how do you deal with identity and access management in the AWS infrastructure. So when it comes to AWS security, we generally talk about this AWS shared responsibility model. And this is important because we sort of advocate the clients, the users, that security on AWS is a shared responsibility. Although AWS takes care of provisioning and maintaining the underlying infrastructure for us, we will still need to perform several security configurations. And that will ensure that you will stay safe in the cloud, right? So this responsibility, this image shows the responsibility at a high level as to what will fall with AWS responsibility and what will be the consumer's responsibility. So the AWS responsibility goes from the ground up. Okay. So if you see at the hypervisor level and at the global infrastructure level, AWS secures the hardware and its software facilities and the networks which run all the products and services. So all the hardware, software, facility, in fact, the facility where your hardware is deployed and your network, that security is taken care by AWS, whereas customers are responsible for securely configuring the services they sign up for. So the services what we are signing up for, like EC2 instance or EBS or S3. So whatever we are signing up for, we have to make sure that we are configuring them securely as per our requirements. So other than that, AWS also performs some other responsibilities like obtaining the industry certifications and independent third-party attestations as well. So AWS complies to all the industry certifications, and it also does the third-party attestations to make sure that at any given point in time, AWS infrastructure and services are secure and are compliant. And AWS always publishes this information about AWS security. And if there is any security breach or any malfunctioning of the services or any services which are down, AWS makes it a point that they always publish this information for the entire AWS users to know that, right? Other than that, AWS provides the certificates and reports of other documentation which directly are related to AWS, and under any non-disclosure agreement, they are supposed to maintain that information. So we have to understand the shared responsibility model at any given point in time with respect to security. All right. So with respect to physical security also, AWS takes care of good amount of practices that they'll make sure that the security is at the physical security is also of prime importance. In general, users will not be aware of where the physical data centers are located. If you ask me, I'm using Amazon for maybe more than 6 years now, but I'm not aware of where the data centers are physically located. Even if you go in the Mumbai region, it might not be easy for you to determine where it is. So that's how they sort of they do not disclose the facilities. And over 24 hours 7, we have this trained security staff, which will make sure that not everyone is allowed to the security, and even the authorized staff who is authorized to access that, they will have to authenticate themselves based on multi-factor authentication, and that's how they take security at a very high priority for them. Okay. So hardware security or network security and software security, which AWS provides, have been it's highly available, redundant, and extremely secure environment. Any change to AWS hardware and software, it is managed through a centralized automated change control process. So the changes also doesn't go in an ad hoc manner, but they are all sort of centralized, and in a very automated way, change control happens. And any access to hardware and software must be authorized. Privileged access to software and hardware requires SSH login. For all requests, it should be using secured connections, and it is only allowed using Bastion servers that records all access to the servers. Other than that, the network devices, including the firewall and other boundary devices, they are monitored and controlled at any given point in time. And any external communication and internal communication to those devices is monitored. So AWS monitoring tools are also designed to detect unusual activities on any part of this hardware, infrastructure, or network. So the monitoring is very redundant. It's robust. It always is available. So these tools monitor the server and network usage. It monitors the application usage and any unauthorized intrusion attempts.
What do you mean by change control process?
So any change which happens to AWS infrastructure, right? That happens at a very controlled manner. That's what it means to say that changes cannot happen overnight without any centralized process. Let's assume that they are sort of changing any service access or any service availability. So that happens at a very automated and change controlled process. It means it doesn't go in an ad hoc way.
Please enroll our general membership for $399 plan to get access of all the parts.
Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopsschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the $399 plan and grow your skills immensely. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.